up? What is up, man? We are back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation. If you're at home, man, shout out to you too. Enjoying your weekend. It's raining. Stay your black ass at the crib. Shout out to everybody out there. You know I'm gonna miss you. Shawnee, Billy in the building, Erica, Tasha, Dave for No Compromise, James Youngblood, 066, Screwhead. Everybody out there, man. Mariah, I'm gonna text Mariah because I gotta get some more interviews. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody out there, man. We about to just discuss some few things and just kind of recap what's been going on throughout the week. You know I'm gonna hit y'all niggas with it. Did Jesus come back today? Ah, god damn. You mean he didn't? We've been doing all this speaking in tongues, all this bullshit. But the system of racism, white supremacy going oops upside our motherfucking heads. So shout out to everybody out there, man. We're going to get into it, man. We're going to talk a little bit about, not Herschel Walker as a whole, but we're going to just talk about the likable negro. I really wanted to talk about that today because I've just been watching a lot of things and just experiencing things so you see that. So let's get into it right now because I'm not going to be on here long at all. And don't have me to start singing. Yeah. I don't fuck with y'all. Man. It's a lot of shit going on, man. I want to talk about the likable Negro. And when I mean the likable Negro, I'm not talking about likable to black folk. I'm talking about likable to the dominant society. And this is no diss to anybody out there. Like I got you know, associates and people and friends from all racial groups. But it is not your job to explain to other racial groups what our struggles are. It's your job to be on code with each other. And I've dealt with this shit. Shout out to the homegirl Jerica too, but I've dealt with this before. You deal with a lot at the Core Plantation, these mammies and sambos and shit. You know what I mean? That have that hater nigga syndrome and hater bitch syndrome. That's why niggas can't get together because of the slave mentality. We viewing each other as competition. We're not viewing each other as allies. And what's so funny is, this is the one thing, I don't care who you date, I don't care who you around, niggas ain't gonna tell me who the fuck I can fuck with, I don't care. But you have to understand what being on code is like. You know, and being on code takes a different type of effort. But first, you gotta look at who you're dealing with. And I've always noticed it. I remember I said it a long time ago. I was at a different Core Plantation and I was just watching. It was a sister, and I was just watching the sister, how when she get around the white folks, she smiling, she doing everything. Then she get around niggas, she always got some smart shit to say, very derogative, you know, just very, very one of them passive aggressive black people who don't like who they are and have some shit to say. And I've dealt with that for a long time, for as long as I can remember working at any Core Plantation. And how you deal with it is you just don't fuck with them motherfuckers. You don't fuck with them. You don't say shit to them. You going about your day, and you don't interact with them. And the reason why you don't interact with them because that gives them power. And they love smiling and dealing with the dominant society and doing all that sucker shit. And that's cool. You can't be mad at that, and you can't be mad at the dominant society liking them. But the thing that I've learned is you just gotta state your position on it. If you don't fuck with the motherfucker, I don't care if that's your sister. And you got people that are white and they cool, you gotta, I'm gonna nip it in the bud. Well, I don't fuck with that motherfucker. Straight up. Me and the homegirl was talking about that shit yesterday. Shout out to my nigga Dom too. We was talking about that shit yesterday, just in general. Like, if you don't fuck with somebody, you don't fuck with them. And I'm not finna go around here acting like they do. And I think a lot of the times, the dominant society feels like, oh, well, they're cool, yeah, because they making you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But this is racism, white supremacy, the competition of resources. And since the dominant society has all the resources, they're into a likable Negro. They like a motherfucker that smile with them and talk crazy about other niggas. I don't tolerate the shit. I don't play that shit. I don't want that shit around me. And I think that we have to learn how to, in my personal opinion, get away from motherfuckers like that. Hey, what's going on, David, man? I see you, man. I ain't finna be on here long. I was just talking about it, man, because I've been thinking about that a lot. And I don't care, like I said, I don't care who you date, who it is, what other racial group, you need a black base. If you don't respect your black customers and your black base, you're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. And a lot of times, I've learned this too about black folk. They have such We have such a hater mentality towards other people who just have their own opinion and their own thought process about things and how they move about things. Like, we don't never question each other. Like, why is that person so quiet at work? Why don't they smile with people? That should be intriguing to another black person. What we do is we get around the dominant society and poke fun at the nigga and look at the nigga like he's a threat. That's what I mean. That's why with the Herschel Walker thing, please, the Republican Party, they know right now this is a joke. It's not real. Republicans know black folk are not involved in politics like that because we know it's a sham. That's why they went and got Herschel Walker's non-talking ass. And the Democratic Party is struggling just to keep their black people in power because there's a lot of black folk that's out there calling they hoe asses out. And that's why when I was talking to, my homegirl yesterday, we had a great conversation, and I just said, look, man, I know who haters and who ain't. I know who are rude, and I know who haters are. Haters go out of their way to say shit to provoke you. And black folk have a very duplicitous way of doing that shit to each other. And they wait. I'm telling you, I remember I worked around this African motherfucker too before. And this is a long time ago. And then this nigga couldn't wait until white people got around and want to say some smart shit. But I was that nigga that should be like, well, they don't even fuck with you. But you think they fuck with you because they sitting up here, treating you as a goddamn charity, a charity. You know what I'm saying? Charity work. I've learned that about the dominant society. They love charity work. They love doing charity for people. And they love, in my personal opinion, they love that Blind Side type shit. That movie, The Blind Side, where a white person takes a black person and cleans them up. And they like that type of shit. I'm not into that. But I always stake my claim. And I don't stake my claim so a motherfucker don't fuck with another black person that's from the dominant society. I stake my claim as that bitch or that nigga is a Sambo mammy, and y'all can have that bitch. And I hope I don't never see that bitch again, because if I do, I'm going to act like I don't know who she is. Because I'm that type of motherfucker that I'll be like, man, you act like a hoe at the job. Or you on some mammy shit. But when you dealing with haters, you got to get away from them. You don't keep them motherfuckers around. Especially when you at the job. When you at the core plantation, once you watch how motherfucker move, you just back and do your own thing. And when a person is miserable, they miserable. I remember working at Silver Mesa, City North Las Vegas. It's like 01. And I met a lot of Las Vegans there. And they didn't know I had been coming out here to Vegas since 85. But they were asking me how LA was. And I was like, man, it's just different. And I was like, out here, you don't have to get dressed up to go to the mall. You just put on regular clothes and do your thing, because it ain't really about that. It's about the clubs and all this other shit. And I said, out there in LA, you got to be dressed up to go to the mall. You got to be dressed to go there. And I was like, it's just different. The weather was better, so it's a lot. And I remember them motherfuckers distinctly was like, if you don't like Vegas, then why are you here? And I was like, I never said I didn't like Vegas. I just said it's different. It's different. And I like their approach. Because that's my approach. If you don't like Vegas, you don't like, then get the fuck on. Trust me, I know, I feel it. There's a lot of shit about Vegas I don't like as of now. Me and the homegirl was talking about that shit too. I miss the old days of Vegas where a nigga could get to Henderson in 15 minutes because it ain't a million people on the goddamn freeways and 100,000 accidents every damn day. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of things that I missed and I enjoyed about Las Vegas. But when you don't like something, you just gotta look somewhere else for what you want to do. But in the meantime, you don't go around hating on other motherfuckers, because clearly I'm not no hater. You know what I'm saying? I'm more one that I'm the type of person where I want to be well established in what I'm doing and what I'm thinking before I assess what the fuck I am. So I watch what a motherfucker do. And once they do some hater shit, I'll be like, yeah, this is a Sambo or a mammy. And normally the times, man, when you work around black folk and they act like that, you just get away. I just get away from them. I don't really be having shit to say. I don't care. Because this is my theory. When you're around a whole bunch of white people and they all love you and they all just love you to death, and they do the racial showcasing confusion shit with you, you're doing something wrong. When they don't feel uncomfortable, when they feel uncomfortable around you, then that's when you're doing something right, because that means you're not smiling and just being a domesticated primate for their entertainment. So that's all I'm saying, man. And you gonna deal with this all day long, all day strong from your people. Some people know how to be on code, some people not. Look, I worked around people where I've been on code with them and they wasn't never on code with me. And I didn't give a fuck. But now I have a difference of opinion. You ain't on code with me, fuck you, nigga. Get your whole ass away from me. If you're a black female and you want some mammy shit, I'm calling out names like corrupt. Fuck that. You can only help the willing. And I don't give a fuck if the dominant society like you or not. As Neely Fuller Jr. says, until you prove to me that you're not a part of the system of racism and white supremacy, then that's another conversation. But you gotta prove it to me. I don't care what a white person co-sign. See, niggas do, woo, co-sign. I remember, I'm not gonna put his name out there. I'm not gonna put their name out there, but I remember a long fucking time ago, one of my homeboys, we was in the group. He co-signed a dominant society person, but I still had my suspicions the whole time. He was like, nah, man, he cool. And I still had my suspicions on him. Then that dominant society person came out the bag, and I was like, there you go. That's the motherfucker that I knew you was. And I don't know why black folk get so mad when the dominant society, they use their $1 million worth of whiteness. Let them do that so they can show you who they are. The point of the game is for them to tell you what's being said when you're not in the room. So if you got a white person that you know that's cool, or Latino or Asian, and they in those rooms with decisions being made, they coming back and telling you great information about, look, nigga, this is what they really said. No, you don't put them on blast. You just keep letting them give you good information. And if they give you great information, you don't dog them out. You just be like, all right, cool, I respect that. And that's how you have to be. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think we don't know the game rules. See, I know the game rules. And that's why I became very introverted and I just didn't say shit to nobody. Because for what? Black folk never have a clean slate no matter where we go or what we do. And it's until we leave certain situations is when motherfuckers like, oh, well, damn, that nigga wasn't bad at all. But your job is not to go to the corporate plantation and make friends with other racial groups. Your job is to get that money, get the fuck out of there. And any other racial group that's at that job that really fuck with you, they're gonna take time to fuck with you outside of the job. And when you do have racial discussions, nobody should get uncomfortable. But a lot of times people get intimidated by black folk because, we read. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man, and you know what? It really burns my blood when black folk get on the job and hate on other black folk and be smiling with white people, because then you haven't read anything and you don't know where we've been. Like, damn, man, this is where everybody's getting their bread. Why would you get on the job and be that type of way? That's because people are unsettled, double-minded, have no drive, no ambition, no goals, no land of their own, so they come on the job being predatory towards other niggas. That's why the system is maintained by everybody. The system's not maintained by white folk. It's maintained by every other racial group. Jockeying for a hierarchy of need position within the system. That's why niggas be want to maintain that shit. That's why I tell niggas all the time. I be like, because niggas be like, man, shit, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'll fuck, fuck with her. And I'll be like, that's not a bad thing. And they be like, why? What you mean? I was like, man, niggas used to try to do that shit to me too. And I'd be like, man, I fuck whoever fuck with me. This was 20 years ago. I said, the only difference is just because you fuck with somebody outside your race, don't let their shit and their racial pride overshadow you being black. And I remember a nigga said this to me at Silver Mace, what you mean? I was like, I don't know if y'all remember when they used to have MTV Cribs, and I remember Russell Simmons showed his house, and he had nothing but a whole bunch of Asian shit in his house. He didn't have no black artifacts, no black painters, no black nothing. It was all about Kimora Lee Simmons. And that's what I meant. Like, well, nigga, you let this broad swallow up all your racial pride. That's all I'm saying. Just have racial pride in who you are. And a real broad that really fuck with you, they gonna follow suit. They're not gonna be pushing a fucking racial group on you. They gonna be fucking telling niggas about your struggle. And they're gonna be looking at motherfuckers upside their head who don't understand. And that's all I'm saying, man. Don't get on these jobs and be trying to make friends with people. Draw your line of demarcation, and whoever fuck with you, fuck with you. If they don't, they don't. It ain't no big deal. This is how the system works. Your job is to recycle black dollars and fuck with your people. That's all that is, on a different level. And if people can't understand you know, who you fuck with and all this other stuff, man, you can't save them all. And it ain't your job to be explaining to motherfuckers, man. Because some people get a kick out of just wanting to be involved in other people's personal business. Shout out to Nuke, as Nuke would say. That is her personal business. I gotta tell y'all this story real quick. I remember one time, me and Nuke is like she's like my fourth sister. She's like my second big sister. She's like a cousin, because Nuke always has great knowledge about situations, and she has great advice, and she's very knowledgeable about how to move within the corporate infrastructure. She just kind of knows that, right? So I remember this girl, I ain't gonna say her name, but we we was walking around, and the nigga walked by the girl, and we knew the girl too. The girl was walking in this corporate plantation cafeteria with us all, and she was just like, wow, I can't believe that guy didn't say hello to me. And I was like, what you mean? She was like, why wouldn't he say hello to me after I sucked his dick and he comes all in my face? I was like, damn. And Nuke immediately grabbed me like an usher in church. It was like, I'm gonna need you to stay away from her. And I was like, why? She was like, that is her personal business, and that girl is nasty. Y'all know me. I was like, shit, well, I stay around the corner, nigga. What you trying to do? But anyway, that's just a running joke. But I'm just saying, we have to understand that. And stop expecting everybody else to join. Like, I don't be expecting that shit. I'm telling you, when I never even read a book about who we are, none of that shit in 01 and 02 and 03. That was just, I guess, you know, from listening to my mom, because my mom used to tell me stories about all the racial encounters she had to deal with. So I guess that was just in my subconscious about, you know what I mean? Well, no matter, and I remember this lady named Special K, she worked with me. She was like, Warren, because she was there when this dude was trying to give me a hard time, but I stood my ground, and she told me, she said, she was a sister, very beautiful sister. She said, Warren, it's not about who you date. It's about you being who you are within that relationship. And I was like, what you mean, Special K? She was like, you know how you talked about Russell Simmons and he had all that Asian artifact? She was like, you just make sure you don't become Russell Simmons. I'll never forget that shit. She was like, so if you date an Asian, we don't want you talking about, oh, I'm into Asian culture. And, you know, she was breaking that shit down. She was like, and if you dated, you know, a Mexican girl, we don't want to hear you walk around here trying to speak Spanish and act like you Latino. Be who you are. And she was like, and she straight told me, she was like, and if you are who you are authentically, Warren, no matter whoever you date, they either gonna love you or they gonna get the fuck away from you. They're gonna embrace black culture or they gonna get the fuck away. And I never got that. It was 20-something years ago. So that's why I was just like, man, and they can't tell me shit about who the fuck I fuck with. And I love my sisters. Niggas can't tell me. You can ask Nuke, Roxanne, you can ask my siblings. Nigga, they ain't never seen me get a sister and just dog a sister out. I don't do that. If anything, at the corporate plantation, I covered our sisters. I try to build relationships, working relationships, so we can understand that, hey, man, we all we got. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you abuse that likeness of you being cool with a sister and then dog a sister out too. You know what I mean? We just gotta wake up and understand what the fuck is going on, like I always say. And stop allowing other black folk to come in and sow seeds of discord because they are unhappy. Like I said, you can't save every black person. I'm too old for that now. I don't save motherfuckers. I don't deal with people like that. I like dealing with business-minded motherfuckers that handle their business. And if you're not handling your business, I don't fuck with you. And I definitely don't have niggas around me like that at all. At all. And the reason why I don't have it is because niggas be like Dame that shit. Most of the time, niggas be worried about shit that don't matter. Shout out to Dave from No Compromise. He is probably one of the very few niggas that I've ever met through social media that mean what he say what he mean, thorough brother, handle business, mentor to the kids, very well read, don't be doing no sucker shit. That's why can't nobody tell me nothing about that nigga. I'll laugh in their fucking face because that nigga handles business. And that's why that's the type of brother. And it's so funny with that brother because before I met this brother, I started putting that shit out there to the energies. Putting that energy out there into the world so the ancestors could, you know, like, I'm like, man, I want to do a podcast because I done tried to do a podcast with several motherfuckers. Niggas be worried about how many followers you got. Niggas, you got to be on their time. What's in it for them? You got to chase niggas around. I don't got time for that shit, man. And I don't want to have time for that shit. So shout out to my nigga Dave from No Compromise for taking the time to do those Twitter spaces. We do those lives. Shit, I got nothing but love for that brother and respect. And there needs to be more niggas like him out there. And the reason why I'm saying that shit is because, you know, niggas be mad at niggas because niggas don't want to fuck with niggas, but niggas don't be having no business mind. I've been banned from TikTok again. Damn, because you be speaking the truth. That's why. I remember, I'm going to do a podcast about it. I'm gonna see if I might interview some of my siblings just so they can, you know, because they was saying real shit. You know what I'm saying? They was just saying shit because I was like, oh, what about niggas? They like, man, we don't deal with niggas. Niggas, and that's true. Niggas be wanting pussy more than they be wanting to handle business. And I think we have to kind of dial that down, because if you're handling business and you chasing the business aspect, women gonna chase you because you focused on your business. And that's why I don't really be, you know, around a lot of niggas like that, because niggas be worried about shit that don't even matter. But that'll be another podcast. My question to everybody before I get off air is this. Are you a likable Negro to the dominant society? Or you make the dominant society uncomfortable? Oh, you said you was talking about the Dems and the Republicans? Exactly. They don't want you talking about that at all. So that's always going to be my question to everybody. Are you a likable Negro to the dominant society? Or are you that Negro that makes them uncomfortable when they're around you? That doesn't mean you go and start debating with white folk every time you sit down with them. That's moronic, simple-minded bullshit. I'm talking about when it comes to racial issues, do you stand your ground or you just look at them? I'm talking about outside of work, or you just look at them like they crazy and agree with them because you want them to be your friend. That's all I got to say, man. Shout out to everybody out there. You already know what it is. You know what it ain't. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.